I ain't spoke to my son. Think I ain't told my son, his mama, and his grandmamas, his going to prison. If you got
a while ago when T.I.'s son King was getting a lot of flack and a lot of heat in the media, that to me he just looked like a young kid that wanted to prove to his father that he was a man too.
I know you. I know you. I know you. Shut up. Shut up. I know you. Ain't no mystery about here. I know you though. I know you though. I know.
King Harris's legal mess just hit a whole new level after Tiny slammed T.I. with divorce papers. Right when the family was already falling apart over King's reckless arrest, Tiny couldn't take it anymore, and the wildest part? T.I. isn't even fighting to save the marriage or fix things, and he's just letting it all burn. Now the family's at war, pointing fingers at each other, and everybody wants to know who's really to blame. Was it the parents who spoiled King with everything he ever wanted, or was it King himself throwing away his privilege just to play gangster? Tiny and T, eye-splitting after decades together, shocked fans, but insiders say cracks in their marriage had been there for years. The final straw? October 2024. The moment King's reckless arrest dragged their whole household into the spotlight. King was caught leaving a gas station in his BMW, driving wild like he owned the streets and nearly crashing straight into a police car. And when the cops walked up, things went from bad to disastrous. The officers immediately smelled weed pouring out of the car, then spotted a gun tucked in his waistband. At that moment, King's freedom was already slipping away, but it got even uglier when they ran his name. Turns out, King had a 2022 warrant hanging over his head when speeding, driving on a suspended license, and a DUI all stacked up against him. He could have walked away from that traffic stop if he had just chilled, but instead, every past mistake came crashing down on him at once. And the second that arrest footage hit the internet, social media ripped him apart like never before.
I need you to step out the vehicle.
What you want to do? You want to take my gun off my head?
Yes, sir.
There's one in the head.
Does your buddy have one as well?
It's guns in here.
Alright, just hang tight right here for me. Let me clear this. I don't want any accidental fires.
There's no safety. You got to take it.
There's no safety.
You take the clip out.
Well, I'm not going to mess around with that too much. I'm just set this down right here. Dude, step out for me. Yes, sir. Place your hands behind your back for me. Alright, right now you're just being detained. You're not under arrest. I'm going to be at the church. Alright, I appreciate you being cool, man. We're just going to take a look at this information, make sure it's valid.
I ain't sure of this.
Just take a step to the side for me.
One thing was crystal clear from that footage. King knew he had finally crossed the line. This time, he wasn't out here wilding for attention in some 30-minute live stream. No, you could actually see the regret in his eyes. It was like reality finally hit him, and the only way out was to cooperate. And for someone as hot-headed as King, that had to take serious restraint. We've all seen the way he clowns around online and acts out in public, but this video showed the complete opposite. Even the arresting officer seemed shocked at how calm King stayed through it all. But let's be real, that calmness didn't save him. He still ended up locked in DeKalb County Jail before they moved him to Pickens County once that old warrant came back up. When the footage went viral, the internet didn't go easy on him either. One fan straight up called him a trust fund prison punk, and that comment blew up with likes. Another blasted him for thinking his parents' money could save him, all while pretending he came from the trenches. But King wasn't the only one catching heat. His mess tore right through his parents' marriage too. Those cracks between T.I. and Tiny turned into a full-blown break. T.I. tried to play the role of the heartbroken dad, but Tiny wasn't buying it. She was furious, and when she filed for divorce, she made it clear King's downward spiral was the final straw. Shockingly, T.I. didn't fight her, didn't beg her to stay, nothing, because in his eyes, he'd already done his part as a father. King's downfall? That was on King. As harsh as it sounds, T.I. had warned him plenty of times. Back in 2022, when King first started going viral, T.I. hopped online begging him to slow down. He warned that if King didn't chill, jail was waiting for him. He even told Tiny and King's grandmother they needed to keep watch before his son threw everything away.
hitting me and getting in my comments, telling me what to tell King, okay? I know my son. Think I ain't spoke to my son? Think I ain't told my son, his mama, and his grandmamas, his going to prison. If you got to keep this up, they're going to prison. Ain't no way around it. Ain't nothing I'm gonna be able to do about it. Can't nobody stop it but him. You know what I mean? I've already had that conversation. I've already made my peace with it. Because I know that energy. I was that energy. I know exactly how it's gonna turn out.
I wasn't just talking as a concerned dad. He was speaking from experience, as someone who had already lived that prison life and knew exactly how heavy the price could be. But Tiny wasn't buying any of it. In fact, she flipped it into straight-up ammunition against T.I. and the divorce. She claimed he had failed as a father, that if he had been more present and firm with King, their son wouldn't have drifted so far off track. And honestly, she wasn't lying. I was in and out of prison from the moment Tiny found out she was pregnant with King. By the time he was really back home for good, King had already learned how to grow up without a dad in the house. And when T.I. was around, it didn't change much, and because allegedly he sent King off to live with his grandmother most of the time. King himself even admitted that while his parents were rich, he didn't grow up spoiled with stacks of cash. He grew up under his grandma's roof. And get this, he said the only times he was even allowed in T.I. and Tiny's house were when the cameras were rolling for their reality show. Imagine that, your own parents' mansion off limits unless it's for TV. So it's no shock that King started looking for chaos outside the home. Every stunt he pulled had him inching closer to real trouble. One of the most infamous moments, his Waffle House meltdown in 2022. All it took was a worker messing up his orders, adding pickles when he didn't want pickles. That tiny slip-up sparked a full screaming match.
Stop talking to me. This ain't your restaurant. This ain't your restaurant. Everything you make, I can pull out my pocket right now. I ain't tripping on you. I ain't tripping. Get the hell out of my face. I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. Who the hell is he? What's your name? My name King. You know it and your mama know it. Tell your mama Happy Mother's Day. Tell your mama Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. That file show. Come back. What? On game what? On game what? Come here. Come here. I'll show you what I do. Come here. I'll show you what I do. Come here. Come here.
King filmed the whole scene and blasted it online, thinking it made him look tough. Instead, it made him look entitled, spoiled, and out of control, while fans questioned why T.I. let his son run wild in the first place. So when Tip later dropped that video warning King about jail, Tiny was heated. Her point was simple. He should have stepped up as a real father years ago, not waited until their son was already spiraling. Things seemed to calm down for a bit, but T's disappointment in King kept bubbling under the surface, until it finally exploded in public at an Atlanta Falcons game, where father and son got into a heated argument that turned physical right there in front of everybody. The whole blow-up started when King claimed he didn't grow up with privilege. That instantly set T.I. off. He snapped back, reminding King that he was literally born with a silver spoon in his mouth. But King wasn't trying to hear it. Moments later, he swung on his own father, and before anyone could blink, fists were flying. The clip of their fight was insane to watch.
To make him look better, he said he know not true. Silver spoon, I ain't never ate with that day a day in my life.
Nigga, you did have a silver spoon.
Look, Tip used to have to come to my grandma's house because I'm getting in the fight.
You cried like a baby to go to your grandmama's house.
Every day.
You used to hold your breath.
Every day.
I know, I know you capping. I know you. I know you. I know you.
Shut up. Shut up.
I know you.
Ain't no mystery about here.
I know you though. I know you though.
Shut up.
I know you though. I know you. What's wrong with y'all? Why y'all doing that to me? Y'all know me. You know I stand on business.
T.I. looked like he was ready to forget this was his own son and really put hands on him like a stranger in the streets. Within hours, the footage went viral, racking up thousands of likes and comments. People were actually cheering T.I. on, saying things like, he should have whooped him long ago, and that's what happens when you don't check your kid early. They turn on you. Fans called King out as out of control and even said, pray for that family. But Tiny? She wasn't clapping at all. She hated how T.I. embarrassed King in front of the world. And when she got home and found out T.I. had actually kicked King out, telling him to survive on his own, that was the final straw for her. In Tiny's eyes, he had gone way too far, and that move cracked their marriage even deeper until there was no saving it. And Tiny didn't stop there. In those divorce papers, she laid it all out. T.I.'s years of cheating, his violent streak, and how he tried to cover it up with fake promises that he was changing. But the truth stacked against him, and when King spiraled into his own chaos, Tiny said she couldn't just blame her son anymore. She was staring straight at the man who raised him, realizing the toxic cycle had never been broken. That's why Tiny finally cut T.I. off. What broke her the most was realizing King wasn't carving out his own story. He was copying his father's blueprint step by step. The same jail stints that once gave T.I. his tough guy image are now the very same road King is crashing down. So when T.I. turned around and disowned King after that arrest, Tiny snapped. In her eyes, he wasn't just rejecting his son, he was disowning his own reflection. And if you've ever watched King, you can see how desperate he is for his dad's approval. Always flashing guns online, always trying to prove he's about that life. Some fans even swore after the arrest footage went viral that King walked into the situation on purpose, just to secure some jail time and finally earn street cred. Others claimed he had finally earned his rugged badge, saying this was the moment he proved himself after years of trying to look tough. But deep down, many people believed it all came back to one thing. King wanted respect from T.I. And in some ways, it looked like his stunts worked. Remember that wild moment when T.I. and Boozy had to step in and check their sons on camera? King and Boozy's son, Tootie Raw, were supposed to be shooting a music video, but instead of focusing on music, they were busy flashing guns like they were running a trap house. That's when both fathers stepped in heavy. You could hear the disappointment dripping from T.Y.'s voice as he pressed King, asking why he was so obsessed with acting tough when there were girls right there watching. It quickly turned into a full-on lecture. T.I. laid it out plain. One wrong move with those guns or even having something illegal around and their lives could be destroyed in seconds. He and Boozy weren't joking, and you could see the seriousness all over their faces. On the outside, it looked like T.I. was genuinely trying to steer his son away from the streets. But when Tiny caught wind of the video, she wasn't proud at all. She was furious. Not because King had been showing off guns, but because T.I. exposed their son's business for the whole world to see, and that, for her, was another nail in the coffin of their marriage.
So motherfucking 12 pull up and they say, hey, who do you belong to? Who raised their hand? Nobody got to raise their hand.
I've been seeing him around too here a lot.
You gonna raise your own hand?
I've been seeing him around too.
Huh?
Well, when you got drugs, it ain't like
I know that.
y'all got drugs around those legal guns.
They called
It's not legal.
possession of a firearm and commission of a crime, sir. That is a felony. Thank you.
I was years too late with his lectures, because King was only copying the same wild behavior he'd seen his dad do. But the moment that really made Tiny snap wasn't the fights, the arrests, or even the guns. It was King's baby mama drama. When T.I. proudly went on a podcast and announced he was about to be a grandfather again because King was having a child, Tiny almost lost it. To her, it sounded like he was celebrating their son's chaos instead of checking it. And the situation was messy from the jump. Rumors swirled that King's baby mama, Big Nana, was way older than him. Some even whispered that she was only dealing with King to secure a bag and he was too immature to notice. But King, he didn't care one bit. He was hyped about the whole thing, bragging about being a dad like it was the ultimate flex. When their son was born in November 2024, King was on cloud 9. He jumped straight into the father role, posting non-stop and bragging about his baby boy. He even dropped a track called Dear Son where he rapped about stepping up, captioning it with, November 5th, 8:09 a.m., welcome King Jr., time to take over. For a second, it almost looked like King was turning the corner, like fatherhood was finally calming him down and teaching him to grow up. Tiny saw a glimpse of change in him, but deep down she knew the story wasn't finished yet. But that so-called fatherhood glow-up didn't last long. By early 2025, King was back in headlines, and this time it wasn't about music or family, it was about chaos. Videos started surfacing of him getting into late-night fights outside Atlanta clubs, wilding out with his crew like he hadn't learned a single thing from being a new dad.
People hit me up like, King, I know you tired, you ain't getting no sleep, and the truth be told, before this little I ain't been getting no sleep, you know what I'm saying? I just been outside working, lifestyle, lifestyle just lifing, you know what I'm saying? And, but now I'm damn sure not getting no sleep. This up every morning, and then around the morning time, he like to do that little live concert I be doing with him. And, he like to walk around the house. So
Fans were quick to call it out, saying, didn't this boy just have a baby? Why is he still in the streets instead of at home? And the drama didn't stop there. Paparazzi caught King arguing with Big Nana in Publix, right in a parking lot, and she was screaming about him acting just like his daddy. That one line hit hard because it showed everybody exactly what Tiny had been saying. King wasn't creating his own lane, he was just repeating T.I.'s same mistakes. The internet ate it up. Some fans were joking that King was out here chasing a mini T.I. starter pack, while others weren't laughing at all, calling the situation sad and embarrassing for the whole Harris family. And when Big Nana dropped a few cryptic posts about not needing to depend on anyone's last name, people were convinced the relationship was already falling apart. Meanwhile, T.I. tried to play it cool in interviews, brushing off questions about King's behavior and pretending like it wasn't bothering him, but Tiny wasn't having it. Behind the scenes, she felt like he was ignoring the obvious, and their son was spiraling even worse now that the spotlight was back on him. And every time she spoke up about it, T.I. allegedly told her she was overreacting, which only pushed them further apart. To make matters worse, King started flexing online again, posting videos with stacks of cash, jewelry, and those same guns his dad had warned him about. Fans dragged him immediately, calling it a desperate cry for attention and accusing him of trying too hard to prove he was hood. One viral comment even said, "This ain't gangster, this is generational trauma on display," and people couldn't stop sharing it. It became clearer than ever that fatherhood wasn't enough to slow King down. If anything, it seemed like he was doubling down on the chaos, proving once again that the Harris family drama was nowhere near finished. By the time spring 2025 rolled around, the Harris family drama had turned into a full-on soap opera. King's name was everywhere, not for music, not for success, but for one reckless headline after another. The same people who once joked about him being a trust fund gangster were now convinced he was spiraling out of control for real. And the family? Completely divided. Tiny was still standing by King, saying deep down he just needed love and direction. But T.I.? He was cold as ice, refusing to take the blame and insisting King made his own choices. That split created a storm online, with fans debating non-stop over who was right. Some said Tiny was enabling her son, while others blasted T.I. for abandoning him when he needed guidance the most. Then came the moment that sent the internet into a frenzy. Leaked DMs showing King talking reckless about other Atlanta rappers, calling out names he had no business dragging into his drama. It looked like he was trying to pick fights just to stay relevant. The backlash was instant. People clowned him for being all talk online, no action in real life, while others warned that one wrong move could put him in serious danger with people who don't play games. And through it all, King kept posting, kept flexing, and kept feeding the chaos. Instead of laying low and focusing on his newborn, he seemed addicted to the spotlight, even if it was tearing his family apart. For fans, it was both shocking and sad to watch because the kid who grew up in a mansion was now fighting tooth and nail just to be seen as real. At this point, it's bigger than just King wilding out. It's about a family dynasty crumbling in front of millions of eyes.
I became a father, so I got 2 grandchildren now.
Wow, congrats.
Yeah, I got 2 granddaughters. I got a grandson on the way.
Wow.
King's about to have a son.
King's about to have a son. Congrats.
Yeah. And I told him I'm gonna make this the greatest gangster of all times. I will raise this child to torture you the way that you tortured me. I promise you, there will be an indictment in this young one.
And the scariest part? Nobody knows how far King is willing to go to prove himself. The wildest part in all this? Tiny actually saw a glimpse of hope when King started stepping up as a dad. She thought maybe, just maybe, he was correcting the same mistakes his own father made when he was a baby. But the timing couldn't have been worse. While King was online playing proud dad, that arrest footage was spreading like wildfire, reminding the world he was still knee-deep in trouble. Tiny tried to play the role of supportive father, but his disappointment slipped out quick. And for Tiny, that was unforgivable. She might have swallowed the cheating, the fights, even the chaos. But realizing T.I. was so ashamed of King that he didn't even want to share the same roof with him, that shattered her heart completely. So when those divorce papers landed, it wasn't a shock. It was the final nail in a marriage that had been cracking for years. This time, Tiny was done. No more hiding the mess. No more covering up T.I.'s behavior. No more pretending the family was picture perfect. Now the real question is, what does T.I. do next? Because if he stays quiet the same way he has with King, then the Harris Empire might already be finished for good.